I still remember the exact second my heart turned to steel. It was 2:57 p.m. on a Sunday, the day we were supposed to celebrate the little life growing inside Elena. I was holding a cake knife over white frosting shaped like tiny baby boots, smiling like an idiot for the camera, when the phone buzzed against my thigh. One message. From my own mother. We're at Lila's surprise engagement thing. Baby showers drag on forever. You'll be fine, Caleb. You always are. I felt the blade slip in my hand. Not far. Just enough for the metal to kiss my thumb and leave a perfect red comma on the icing. Elena saw it first. She didn't scream. She just looked at me with those quiet nurse eyes that have seen every kind of bleeding, and whispered, "Breathe, love." But I couldn't breathe. Because in that moment I understood, I had spent 34 years being the spare key they kept in a kitchen drawer for emergencies. And emergencies only. My name is Caleb Rowe. Or it was. I fix things for a living, locks, mostly. I roll around this city in a silver van that smells like metal shavings and the cinnamon gum I chew when I'm nervous. People call me at 3 a.m. because their kid slammed the bedroom door in a tantrum and now the button's stuck. They cry with relief when I show up. They tip me $20 and forget my face before I reach the sidewalk. That's fine. Locks don't need gratitude. They just need the pins to line up. My family never bothered to line anything up. They just knew I'd show. Growing up, love in our house sounded like a schedule. Caleb, drive Lila to practice. Caleb, the garage lock is sticky again. Caleb, your father's card got declined, can you just this once? My little sister Lila was the fireworks. I was the guy who cleaned up the yard afterward. I told myself that was fair. Somebody has to be steady, right? Then Elena happened. Elena with her soft laugh and her steady hands that can start in 4 in the dark. We met when she locked herself out of her car in the hospital parking garage at the end of a 12-hour shift. I popped the door in 9 seconds. She looked at me like I'd performed actual magic. 3 months later she was pregnant, and for the first time in my life I let myself want something out loud, a family that stayed. We planned the smallest, sweetest baby shower you've ever seen. 10 folding chairs above a donut shop that smelled like sugar and motor oil. I baked the cake myself, 2 layers, little fondant boots because we were having a boy. I even strung fairy lights even though the ceiling was water-stained and the outlet sparked when I plugged them in. I kept checking my watch like a teenager waiting for a first date. 2:15 p.m. Elena's co-workers trickle in, bearing diapers and tiny socks. 2:30 my buddy Marco from the firehouse drops off a rocking horse he built himself. 2:45 a.m. text from mom, running late, traffic. 2:55 the message. The one that sliced me open. I read it 3 times. Then I did something I have never done in my entire life. I turned my phone face down and kept smiling while the room slowly filled with everyone who wasn't blood. We cut the cake anyway. We opened gifts. We laughed too loud. And every time someone asked, "Where's the rest of the family?" I felt the lie crawl up my throat like acid. Oh, they're stuck at something unavoidable. Elena squeezed my hand so hard I still have half-moon marks from her nails. When the last guest left, I loaded the leftover donuts into the van and drove us home through rain that felt personal. Elena didn't speak until we pulled into the driveway. "You're shaking," she said. "I'm done," I answered. My voice cracked like cheap plywood. "I'm changing the locks on my life." She didn't ask what I meant. She just kissed my cheek, tasted the salt, and said, "Start with the front door." That week I did 3 things. First, I changed every cylinder in our house. Deadbolts, knobs, the side gate Elena always forgets to latch. I filed new keys until my fingertips were raw. The sound of pins dropping into place became a lullaby. Second, I started a list. Every dollar, every midnight drive, every favor I could remember. It filled 3 pages, single-spaced. I printed it on thick paper, the kind that feels like evidence. Third, I legally changed my name. Took my grandmother's maiden name, the one she whispered to me when I was 8 and crying because Dad forgot my birthday again. Rowan. Caleb Rowan. When the judge asked if I was certain, I said, "I've never been more certain of anything." The family noticed I went quiet about 3 weeks later. First came the concerned voicemails. Then the guilt trips. Then the rage. Mom left one that still echoes, "You're abandoning us right when Lila needs deposits for the venue. How can you be so selfish?" I didn't answer. I was busy painting a nursery the color of storm clouds and sunrise. Then came the night everything cracked open for good. I was rocking our son, Levi, at 2 a.m. when the doorbell camera lit up. 4 figures on the porch. Mom clutching a casserole like a shield. Dad shifting his weight. Lila in tears that looked expensive. Her fiancé trailing behind holding a bottle of champagne and the expression of a man who just realized he married into crazy. I opened the door exactly 8 inches, the length of the new security chain. Mom started talking before I could breathe. "This has gone on long enough, Caleb, Rowan, whatever you're calling yourself. We're willing to forgive the dramatics if you apologize and help your sister with the new deposit." The venue double booked. Lila shoved her phone toward me, a $4,200 invoice glowing like an accusation. I looked at my son's tiny fist curled against my chest and felt something ancient unlock inside me. "No," I said. "Come. Clear. Final." Dad tried next. "Be reasonable, son. Family is the people who show up when there's nothing in it for them," I finished. "You wouldn't know." Mom's eyes narrowed. "You can't keep us from our grandson." "Actually," I said, "I can. That's the beautiful thing about locks. They don't care about blood." Lila made a sound like a wounded cat. "You're seriously choosing this over your own sister?" "I'm choosing the family I built over the one that broke me." I reached into the drawer by the door, pulled out the envelope I'd been keeping for this exact moment, and slid it across the threshold. Mom frowned. "What is this?" "Open it." She did. Inside, the 3-page list of everything I'd ever given them, every dollar, every hour, every piece of my soul. And on top, a single brass key, shiny, brand new, no cuts. Dad looked confused. "What the hell?" "That," I said, "is the only key I'm ever giving you again. It doesn't open anything. It's just metal. Like all the promises you ever made me." Silence. Real silence. The kind that rings in your ears. Mom's lip trembled. For 1 second I thought she might actually feel something. Then she straightened her spine and chose the script she's always known. "You'll regret this," she hissed. "No," I said, stepping back, letting the door close with the softest click you've ever heard. "I already did. For 34 years. Never again." I watched them stand there on the porch for a long time through the peephole. Eventually they left. The casserole stayed. Elena fed it to the raccoons. That was 6 months ago. Levi is learning to smile now. Every morning he grabs my finger with his whole hand like he's testing if I'm real. I am. For the first time, I am. Sometimes late at night I still hear the echo of that cake knife hitting the floor. I still taste blood and frosting. But mostly I hear the sound of a deadbolt sliding home, smooth, certain, final. And I sleep. So here's the question I carry now, the one I need you to answer in the comments because some nights it still keeps me awake. When the people who were supposed to love you hardest treat you like a tool in a drawer, do you owe them the courtesy of staying broken just so they can keep using you? Tell me. If it was you holding that worthless key, would you forgive them? Or would you finally, change the locks? I know what I did. Do you?